talk about the ABCs, and we can learn about the 1, 2, 3s. Well, it's all about you and me having fun together. And we can talk about your family. We can learn anything. Well, it's all about you and me having fun together. Well, it's all about you and me having fun together. Well, it's all about you and me having fun together. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of RME's Music Lab. We are here. It is Blue Monday. It is very cold outside, but we're going to try to warm things up here inside, playing some music and having a whole bunch of fun. If you are out there watching with us live as we record this on the RME Facebook page, make sure you say hello in the chat. Let us know you're out there. We always love to have the interaction. And now, we're going to really quickly fix this. And then we're going to do our blues lyrics. Get a little warmed up. Knock the dust and the rust off here. Let's see here. I'm thinking kind of a slower thing. Well, it's cold outside. I feel it way down in my bones. Yeah, it's cold outside. I feel it way down in my bones. Hey, Mr. Winter, go away, leave me alone. Yeah, I wish the sun would come out and say, hey. I wish the sun would come out and say, hey. I want to go up, hang out outside, run around and play. Sometimes I like to play in the snow. Yeah, sometimes I like to play in the snow. But hey man, I think it's time for you to go. Yeah, it's so cold outside. I feel it way down in my bones. It's so cold outside. I feel it way down in my bones. Yeah, won't this winter go away and leave me alone? All right, there we go. Blues lyrics done. We got those knocked out there. I think we'll just set those here off to the side, get them out of the way. Good afternoon to you, Robin. Thanks for joining us here on Music Lab. Been away for a little bit, but it's good to have you back. Welcome back to the show there. All right. So, I was kind of thinking maybe we play some Bobby Blue Bland songs here. A lot of people describe Bobby Blue Bland as second only to B.B. King as far as Memphis blues. And I think that's probably correct there. Wrote a lot of great songs, a lot of songs that have become classics. A few songs that we've done here on Music Lab in the past. But I'm going to try to do some different ones here. Maybe if we're feeling it by the time we get there, we might do one of the Music Lab favorites here. But let's do. I'm gonna do this in. I'm gonna put a little capo on here. I know capo's not super blues here, but I don't know. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, let's try. Okay, this song is called. It's called "Farther Up on the Road." A lot of people cover it, and the lyrics say "Further Up on the Road." A lot of times people call it "Further Up on the Road" when they do it. So we're gonna do this here. Further on up the road, someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up the road, someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Well, further on up the road, just you wait and see. You better reap just what you sow. That old saying is true. You better reap just what you sow, baby. And now that old saying is true. The way you mistreat someone, well, you know someone's gonna mistreat you. Laughing, pretty baby, someday you're gonna be crying. You've been laughing, pretty baby, now you know someday you're gonna be crying. Well, further on up the road, you'll find out I wasn't lying. Further on up the road, when you're all alone and blue. Further on up the road, when you're all alone and blue. You're gonna ask me to take you back, but baby, I'll have someone new. But further on up the road, Someone's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. We're further on up the road. Just you wait and see. Yeah, there we go. Farther on up the road, further on up the road. Bobby Blue Bland right there. Okay. How's everybody doing out there? Everybody having fun so far? I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. Do a little coffee break here. All right. So let's see here. We're a little off on our time here because we started so late. So I'm just trying to figure out where we're at in the show. And I'm thinking that now, that was a little more down tempo. So I'm thinking maybe now's the time to do something a little bit faster, a little more fun. And I'm going to go off script here a bit. And we're going to do a song called Let the Good Times Roll, which B.B. King and Bobby Blue Bland did together live a few times. It's on a live album of theirs. That's... if I can find it here. Let's see here. I shouldn't have gone off the script, right? Here we go. Maybe. There we go. All right, it took me a second to find it, but we got it now. All right. They got it now, Robbie. Okay. Well, hey, everybody, let's have some fun. You only live once, and when you're gone, you're gone. So let the good times roll. Well, let the good times roll. Well, I don't care if you're young or old, just get together, let the good times roll. If you're singing along at home, this is a little call and response song. So when I say let the good times roll, when you're at home, you can say let the good times roll. Do a little something like this. So let the good times roll, 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 let the good times roll. I don't care if you're young or old, just get together, let the good times roll. Well, don't you sit there mumbling, talking trash. If you want to have some fun, you gotta spend some cash. Let the good times roll. Well, let the good times roll. Yeah, I don't care if you're young or old, just get together, let the good times roll. Well, don't you sit there mumbling, talking trash. If you want to have a ball, you gotta spend some cash. Let the good times roll. Well, let the good times roll. Well, I don't care if you're young or old, just get together, let the good times roll. Well, I hear there is landlord, won't you lock up the doors? And when the police come around, you tell them the joint is closed, and let the good times roll. Well, let the good times roll. Well, I don't care if you're young or old, just get together, let the good times roll. Let the good times roll, 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 let the good times roll. Well, I don't care if you're old, just get together, let the good times roll. I said, hey, 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 everybody. I said, hey, everybody, yeah. Let's have some fun. Yeah, you only live once, and when you're gone, you're gone. So let the good times roll. Well, I don't care if you're young or old, just get together, let the good times roll. Well, 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 I don't care if you're young or old, just get together, let the good times roll. I don't care if you're young or old, just get together, let the good times roll. Well, I don't care if you're young or old, just get together. Just get together, everybody. Yeah, grab a partner, do some dancing. Get together and let the good times roll. Yeah, all right. It's hard to feel bad when you're doing that song right there. Letting the good times roll over there. All right, it's good to see that. All right, let's see here. Looks like, okay. So we got enough time here. What I wanted to do is I want to try something a little different here on Music Lab. And I want to show all you a video that another member of our education staff here, Cole Shuda, made. And it's all about feedback on the electric guitar. Super cool. As you all know, I love the electric guitar, especially lots of distortion, making it really loud. It's super fun. What's not to like? But yeah, I want to show you a video here, and it's just kind of all about how people have used feedback, which is maybe a bad thing in some cases, and they learned how to harness it and use it for the song and make it into something really cool. So I'm going to try switching this over here, and we will see if it goes. Let me know in the chat if you can hear this. I want to make sure that you're all hearing it correctly here. So here we go. Let's try it out.
My name is Cole Shuda. I am the program assistant at River Music Experience. And today I'm going to talk to you about controlled feedback. Before we look at some examples and talk a little bit about how to control feedback and use it as an interesting and a fun tool, I think it would be good to talk a little bit about what creates feedback. So to explain it with my setup here, I have a guitar that's plugged into an amplifier. So the guitar's pickups pick up what I play on these strings. And then the sound is transferred to this amplifier and it comes out of the speakers that are in this cabinet. If the sound is loud enough of me playing, anything I play, a note or a chord, it can vibrate the strings on my guitar. If you've ever been at a really loud concert or you've been near an amplifier that's really loud, sometimes you can feel the vibration of the sound like on your skin or body, and that vibration can cause these strings to vibrate. And when that happens, the vibration of the strings in turn gets picked up again by these pickups and then comes out of the speakers. So this creates what we call a feedback loop. So there are two different types of feedback loops. There are good feedback loops, which we'll talk about today, and how to control them and use them. And then there are bad feedback loops, which nobody really enjoys, and they're not intentional. So many of us have probably experienced an example of a bad feedback loop. If any of us have been to an event where someone is singing or speaking with a microphone, and the microphone picks up itself through the speakers based off of where the person is at in the room, and it will begin to squeal. And it'll continuously get louder until someone either turns down the microphone or mutes the microphone. And so that would be an example of bad feedback. So good feedback can be utilized by controlling your placement of the guitar and holding it up to a speaker. And so this can be very experimental. You can kind of play around with it. But usually, intentional types of feedback are done, for example, with a guitar, and you intentionally have to hold your guitar up to the speaker to get the strings to vibrate, so you can get the volume of the speakers at the guitar. So if I play just a chord or a note, anything, and let it sustain, then I'll hold it up. And there's all these different types of harmonics going on. Sometimes it'll initially feedback and it'll resolve to one pitch. And a lot of the times when it comes to harmonics of the guitar, it'll be a pitch that's one octave above the note or the chord that you're playing. So there are many musicians who have used controlled feedback in some way, whether it's in their playing or their writing or just creating a type of atmosphere in something that they're doing both tonally or harmonically, like how they can get the notes to resonate. But by far the most notable among all who have used feedback and controlled it in some way would be Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix had such a versatile understanding of how to use this technique, and he was able to create this atmosphere, this soundscape along with his playing. And he would do different solos that had this very feel to them, this aura to them at shows live. And one of the most notable times that he did this was when he played the Star Spangled Banner in 1969. And not only was he able to really take a hold of this technique and find different ways to experiment with it, but he also integrated in the use of the whammy bar. The whammy bar on its own functions as a way to bend pitch. And so I could play any note. This on its own brings something new to the table for guitar players. But people like Jimi would add this in to the use of controlled feedback. So you create the feedback loop. By the angle at which you position your guitar, that can create different harmonics or change kind of the tone of them and how they sound in the space. And then you can further change that and add more life to it if you just want to let your guitar ring by doing some different things using the whammy bar and developing the technique that way. So we talked a little bit about Jimi Hendrix and that he's probably one of the most notable musicians to use controlled feedback and to really experiment with it in a live setting and in his creativity. But what happened in 1969 with his performance of the Star Spangled Banner and using feedback throughout that to create a soundscape actually started with one note in 1964. So a band called the Beatles wrote a song called I Feel Fine in the year 1964, and the very beginning of it is an A string plucked on a bass that begins to feed back, but it's a controlled resonance that starts off the song. And the story behind it is actually kind of funny because it was really an accident, more or less. At the time they were writing the song, John set it was a hollow body acoustic electric guitar. He set it up against the amp so they could go on and talk a little bit about how they were going to write it. and all of a sudden the A string started feeding back and started buzzing, and they were just like, can we do that on the record? And so they figured it out, and it's on I Feel Fine by the Beatles, which was the #1 song for quite some time in the year 1964. Another guitar player that I wanted to also talk about is Joe Satriani. Guitar player Joe Satriani wrote a song called Flying in a Blue Cat Dream, and the intro of the song consists of him playing a single note and sustaining it through a feedback loop, so it resonates at a single pitch. And then by changing the angle of his guitar and where he's standing in the room, he's able to change the pitch due to altering the feedback loop. So, we talked about Jimi Hendrix, one of the biggest icons to experiment with controlled feedback. We talked about the origin of feedback in rock and roll, all due to an accident of a single note in I Feel Fine by the Beatles. And then we also talked about Joe Satriani, a guitar player that would later continue to find ways to use feedback in his writing. And so I think this all goes to show that feedback isn't an enemy. It's our friend if we know how to understand it, and we know how to experiment with it, innovate with it, but most of all, have fun with it.
All right, very cool. So thank you, Cole, for that. Yeah, feedback. It can sometimes be a bad thing if you don't know what you're doing with it, but it can sometimes be awesome. Some of my favorite bands use controlled feedback in a lot of their songs. The history of rock and roll is full of people who took something that people either said was broken or wasn't working or is not what you're supposed to do, and they turned it into their own thing. All right, well, thanks to everybody for joining us today for this episode of Music Lab. I want to thank our sponsor for the month, Rhythm City Casino. Their support of Music Lab and the River Music Experience is much appreciated. If you want to help support the River Music Experience and programs like Music Lab, you can head on over to rivermusicexperience.org/donate. And of course, we love seeing all of you here as you watch live along with us on the River Music Experience Facebook page. That is 3:30 Central Standard Time, as long as we're able to connect to Facebook on time. Every weekday, we are here making this show and having a whole bunch of fun. It's all about you and me having fun together, right? It's in the song. I think it's time that we sing our song and send you all on your way here. So thank you all for joining us. And here we go. We can talk about the ABCs, and we can learn about the 1, 2, 3s. Well, it's all about you and me having fun together. And we can talk about your family, and we can learn anything. But it's all about you and me having fun together. But it's all about you and me having fun together. It's all about you and me. Well, it's all about me and you. Yeah, it's all about us having fun together. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Music Lab.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help support River Music Experience and other programs like Music Lab, visit rivermusicexperience.org/donate.